The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What is up and what's happening, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Up Tempo Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Lane, here tonight with my co-host, Dustin Smith. Man, Dustin, it's getting aggravating, man. The Auburn Tigers dropped their last 4 out of 5, and they drop a heartbreaker, 77-69 to the Alabama Crimson Tide inside of Neville Arena. Man, I really, truly feel like Neville Arena was one of the loudest atmospheres in college basketball history yesterday. I feel like it was off the charts. It set decimal points off the freaking Richter scale, man. So shout out to the Auburn fans who absolutely brought it yesterday. But, man, let's just open this thing up with your initial thoughts on how this thing went yesterday.
It's deja vu, brother. It's deja vu for this basketball team. It's deja vu for Auburn fans. I've made the joke before. I sure do hope that Butch and the boys can score some runs, because I don't know if the Auburn family can watch bad offense from another one of the big three. It's just it's tough, man. Like you said when we linked up off air, it just feels like football season at this point. You're repeating the same issues over and over and over again. And I haven't pressed the panic button at all this season, and now's the time. And Bruce acknowledged it in the post game. He said, "Yeah, we know we're fighting for our tournament lives at this point." So there's a lot of veterans on this team, like a lot. The only freshman that contributes at all is Trey Donaldson, a reserve point guard that plays around 10 minutes a game. So this is a very veteran team that needs to team-only meeting, look in the mirror, whatever cliche you want to use. They got to get it figured out in that locker room, because you know, we've made mention of this plenty of times. I have a big issue with Auburn fans that say, well, basketball used to suck, so don't get mad. No. And Bruce doesn't want you to believe that either. He wants you to have expectations of this program. So, and you should. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of resources going into it. Those guys got to be better. Auburn basketball has got to be better than this. Because we are better than this.
Yeah, man, 100% agree with you there. And Dustin, I got to ask you, before we hop into breaking down this game and everything that happened, man, does Auburn fans need to take a step back and realize that they are now a bubble team? Because in my opinion, that is absolutely what you are. You are a bubble team. You are now to the point where you are fighting for your life to get into the NCAA tournament. We know you have Missouri coming up. In my opinion, that is a must-win basketball game, okay? And really and truly, Dustin, I think from here on out is must win. Now, I know you're going to take the trip over to Tuscaloosa, and in my opinion, it's not going to be pretty. I think Auburn could possibly get ran out of the gym. I hate to say that. I love Auburn with all my heart, but from what I saw yesterday and the way you let that one just absolutely slip away, right? You couldn't finish, and now Alabama, Brandon Miller hits the crane kick on you on your home court. Now you got to go to their house, and it's going to be worse, because, in my opinion, you played one of your absolute better performances for the first 15 minutes, and then they were so far off of their game. They played absolutely terrible for the first 15 minutes. For the first 35 minutes, and then you let them off the hook. All right. I don't know why I was saying 15. I meant the last 15 or whatever, man. But you let them off the hook. You couldn't close the game out. So now you got to go to them, and you got to deal with the hard hats. And you still got Tennessee, man. Tennessee, they're struggling right now. You could possibly get a win there. You still got to go to Rupp in Kentucky. I feel like you're fighting for your life, Dustin.
Oh, we are. I mean, if you go 3-3, that puts you at 20-11, and then you say you lose the first round of the tournament in the SEC tournament, you're 20-12. There's a lot of people out there that are acting like that gets us in. I don't think it does. So yeah, I think we need to go 4-2, and at least 5-1 would make you feel real good. But I think at 4-2 and then get some big wins. You got still some opportunities. Missouri's a good team coming up. It's like you just said, man. It's a must win. That Tennessee game is winnable. You almost got them on the road. You should be able to get them at home. So there's still chances, but I mean, clock's ticking.
100%, 100%, Dustin. And man, where do you think this locker room is at right now? I mean, we didn't expect to go 0-2 this week. I didn't expect it. We said it was a possibility, but I figured Auburn would gut one out, at least one. And you had a chance to win both of them, Dustin. Where is this locker room at? Are they laying down? Are they going to get up and battle back? What's going on in there, man?
Well, I trust BP.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's going to have them guys ready. I hope. It's just like I said. The weird thing for me is like Jaylin. I mean, insert what I've said 20 times this season. Why didn't you shoot the ball more?
Yeah.
And it's just you were hot, like you were feeling it, and then you just stopped.
Yep.
It's confusing, man. I don't know where this locker room is. I know that like they play hard and they try. I don't think it's like lost.
Yeah.
But there's something in this team's DNA right now to where when the game gets tight, they can't score. I mean, 1 for your last 10. Come on, man. Like come on. And the thing is they're good looks. They're wide open looks. And let me tell you something. If we got if it's a clutch free throw, we're gonna miss it.
Yep.
If it's late and that free throw is gonna tie the game or get it, within 3 when we're down by 4, make it a 1-possession game, something like that, we will miss that free throw. It does not matter who is at the line. We're gonna miss it. And
you talking about Wendell Green? Talking about Wendell Green?
Yeah.
Him, that was big.
I've seen KD do it. I've seen Jaylin do it this year.
Yeah.
All of them. And again, all these guys are vets. So whatever it is in there that's causing this, when it gets to 3 minutes, for them to just nut up and not be able to execute, not be able to finish. And, this is where I'm concerned about how the season is going to finish. The defense is getting worse and worse and worse. And when you're almost dead last out of 370-something college teams in 3-point shooting, you better play some defense. And giving up 84% in the paint yesterday is not going to cut it. Jalen's got to do a better job of protecting in there, and Janai's got to do a better job of protecting in there. There was no foul troubles. I don't want to hear about the refs yesterday. We just got bodied inside.
Absolutely, man. And a lot of people, I saw a lot of people griping about the officials and all that. Look, the officials, that's not why we lost yesterday, okay? No. Why we lost is simply because we shot 32% from the field. We were 20 of 62 from the field yesterday, Dustin. And guess what? We let Alabama walk into Neville Arena and shoot 59%, Dustin. That is why we lost. They went 29 of 49. We got 13 more shots than they did. Couldn't capitalize. That is 100% the reason why we lost yesterday. We hit more threes than they did, I believe. I think we made more free throws.
Had less turnovers.
And you simply just couldn't close, man. You couldn't close. And there's something, what do we always talk about with the Mamba mentality, man? Somebody's got to have that mentality to absolutely rip somebody's heart out, just grab them around the throat and just put them to sleep, man. So, that's something that we're not seeing from this team. And one guy I always want to talk about and getting this thing started is Jaylin Williams, man. Jaylin Williams had 16 points on 5 of 8 shooting. 8 shots, man. 8 shots. But he was 3 of 6 from 3. And yesterday when I was live, man, I was saying, hey, Jaylin, keep shooting it. Keep shooting it. All right. Jaylin Williams, like we always say every single episode, Dustin, I feel like a broken record. 15 shots a game, man. You shouldn't shoot under that, okay? I don't know what it's going to take, but Jaylin Williams has to have a sit-down, come to Jesus meeting, man, and look himself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm this dude on the team, and I need to be shooting the damn basketball, man.
Yeah, the only person that's not scared to shoot is KD Johnson, but unfortunately, he doesn't like. Unfortunately, that's not a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Like if I could give Jaylin 80% of what KD has, we'd be okay. It's just at this point, man, until I see different, this is what I'm going to expect. These guys have been playing ball for a long time at Auburn at this point, and we keep seeing the same thing all season. So I don't think it's going to change. I want Jaylin to shoot 15 times. The couple of times he's done it, it's worked out for us. But 5 of 8, man, I sure would like that to be 10 for 16, 11 for 16, 12 for 17, something like that. It would have been if you had kept shooting it. That 6 for 3 could have been 4 for 8, could have been 5 for 10. And there's your difference right there.
Dustin, do you think the foul trouble that he got into in the second half, do you think that kind of messed up a little rhythm of his, him having to go to the bench right there, and just kind of losing his flow on the court?
It may have this game, but in other games he hasn't had foul trouble and he just goes away from shooting the ball. So it's just that's just right now that's his DNA. And like I said again, he's been playing ball at Auburn for a long time. So if it changes, great, but I don't expect it to.
Well, another guy I want to talk about, and I feel like we're always talking about this guy, man, and that is Wendell Green Jr. 24 points, as you see here, on 7 of 19 shooting and 4 of 9 from 3. Man, I thought Wendell Green Jr. I thought it was his best performance of the year, Dustin. He absolutely brought it. He showed up. He was hitting big shots. I thought the little hesitation off the screen to get, I think it was Bradley to get the 3-point foul right there, the 3-shot foul. Yeah, nice heads up play there. Just in every aspect, man, I thought he brought it yesterday. I thought he was playing with Neville Arena, man. Just give me your thoughts on Wendell.
Yeah, he's really been down the stretch. He's playing good basketball in a lot of these losses. Yeah. And I know you had the audio down because you were live yesterday, but the announcer alluded to it probably with about 12 to 13 minutes to go in the second half. He said, Wendell Green's had a great game, but I'm getting worried for the fact that he doesn't have any help and he's played a lot of minutes.
Yep.
And that's kind of what we're seeing. We want to put the ball in Wendell's hand with 2 minutes to go when he's been the only one with the ball the whole game. You know, you're not getting anything from the 2 spot. So even simple stuff like bringing the ball up the court, running the offense. I mean, right now it is all on Wendell. When Wendell is not on the floor, you really start questioning where the points are going to come from. And because there's nobody else that can really get the offense even kick-started. So if guys aren't going to help him out at the 2 spot and not just in scoring, yes, scoring would be nice and at least being a threat. If KD could knock down a couple more threes and at least be a threat out there. But, you know, he's asked to carry so much of the load. But he's doing great. I mean, he's given us everything he's got. And he's like I said, he's playing well in a lot of these losses.
Man, look, I got to ask you this, Dustin. When he went off the court yesterday, Auburn had a 5-point lead in the second half. And there was a rotation that come in with Donaldson and Wendell was on the bench, man. And Alabama made their run. They ended up taking the lead. Auburn couldn't get a bucket. They were focusing on Joe Nye down low, man. I had a guy tell me, he said, well, Wendell had to go to the bench and get rest. All right. And I said, look, man, at this point in your season, you need a quality win. You need something on your resume, and you have a 5-point lead against the number 3 team in the country. That's in the polls. In my opinion, they're the number 1 team in the country. All right. Can you put Wendell Green Jr. on the bench there and not have an offensive threat in that rotation, Dustin? Up 5, man.
No. And I know, here's the thing. I know Bruce is in a tough spot because he counted on Chance to be that guy.
Yep.
Chance was supposed to be that guy. So Bruce is in a tough position. I think we're getting more out of Trey than this coaching staff probably expected.
Yep.
But yeah, like Wendell's just in that. It's just him right now, bro. It's just him. Anything you get from Trey is a bonus. And like I said, you expect Chance to be that guy. Yeah, I mean, I hear both sides of that one. Probably shouldn't take him out right there. The results kind of speak for themselves. But but he can't play every minute of the game either. So Bruce would probably say, well, I'm trying to conserve him, knowing the game's going to be close late. And you still saw him kind of get winded and gassed. So there's no perfect solution to some of the problems we have. It's a flawed roster that doesn't have good perimeter shooters and lacks some size down low. When we play the longer teams, we lack size at the guard spot, and there's not a lot of ball handlers. We just have a lot of flaws, man. There's just a lot of problems that are going to pop up from that. So yeah.
Yeah, man, and one thing, Auburn held Alabama and Brandon Miller. I mean, they held them basically in check for the most part, man. Look, I know they scored 77 points, but let's be real. Some of that was kind of, at the end of the game and everything, in mop-up duty, fouling late, and then I think Noah Gurley flushed one home that was a little unnecessary and all that. But look, man, for the most part, from what this Alabama team has done on the year, scoring 190 and everything, and the upper 80s, Auburn held them in check, and you held Brandon Miller to 13 points, man. I thought Auburn played really, really well, and they had a chance to win this basketball game. And so when I saw Brandon Miller not on his A game, and Sears was really, he was hitting his 3-point shots, but, I just figured that we would see a different team down the stretch with the late game against West Virginia, the late game against Tennessee. I felt like, hey, this is the spot for us to pull one out. And we were battling. We were throwing haymakers back and forth, man. And at the end of the day, like you said a minute ago, when it gets under 3 minutes, Auburn, they tighten up, man. They tighten up. And it's tough to watch, man. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. And I keep seeing Auburn fans, man, saying, oh, well, look, we're really not that bad. We're not terrible, but you're sitting here thinking like this is a Sweet 16 team. You need to roll back your expectations a little bit about this Auburn team, because they're not that good. All right. They're not getting out of the first weekend. I'm sorry. All right. They're not. All right. Look, we tried to sugarcoat things, but my point of this is, man, is you held Alabama down for the most part. You held them down from what they are used to doing to teams in this conference, and you still couldn't find a way to win, Dustin.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know where you go from here.
No, you better start winning games. And the thing is, I think this game played out like exactly the way Bruce wanted it to. I think he had a game plan coming into the game that worked perfect, because Alabama's so good. You're going to have to pick how they're going to score. They're going to score.
Yep.
But Bruce made a conscious decision that we are going to really guard the 3-point line and make sure they don't get us there. And that's why we gave up 80-something% in the paint, but he knew it was going to be a high percentage of looks in the paint, and he decided, I got to try to keep them under 100. I got to try to keep the numbers that you read off earlier. They're a good team. They attacked the closeouts. They made the right passes at the right time. And they got us. But if you would have asked Bruce before the game, what's the game plan today? I guarantee you he would have said, limit them off the 3-ball, force them to make 2s, and then we'll be in a close game late, and we'll try to pull it out at home. That's exactly how it played out, and we continue to not pull it out at home. So with everything there, with game day there, with, like you said, one of the best, probably the best atmosphere in Auburn basketball history.
Yeah.
That's not a stretch to say. You got people camping outside for days on end to get into the game. So, yeah, man, just really disappointing. But again, I feel like we've been saying this for weeks now. Go 2-0 this week.
Yeah.
Go 2-0 this week, and then the whole tone changes.
It's a must, man. It's a must. I feel like you got to go 2-0. You got Missouri at home, and then you go to Vanderbilt. So I mean,
this
you
stretch
gotta
is brutal, bro.
You gotta win these two, man. You can't look. I'll be honest, man. If you don't go 2-0 this week, I don't think you're making the NCAA tournament. I really don't, Dustin. I'm to that point, man. I'm kind of look. I don't want to give up on this team because that's not what we're about. We're Auburn Tigers, through and through. But it's time to start looking at the harsh reality of things. And these are two must-win games. Missouri's a great team.
Yeah.
They got some big-time wins on their resume. Vanderbilt's hot right now, man. They hit a buzzer beater the other night against Tennessee at their place, so that's obviously a tough place to play. Then you got a game against Ole Miss, man. You got to get that one. Then you got Kentucky. You got to go to Rupp, man. You got to get that one, and then you close things out with Tennessee and Alabama. Look, the slate's tough, but somebody's got to bow their neck, like you mentioned earlier, with the maybe have a team meeting or something. Draw everybody in and say, hey, let's get this thing going. Understand your roles. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words, really. We tried to sugarcoat this thing, man, and say, hey, when we were beating the bad teams, the LSUs and all that, and we were saying, hey, maybe this Auburn team is pretty good, man. Maybe they're sitting right where they need to be. Maybe that loss in Athens was exactly what this team needed. But now it's starting to look like that loss in Athens was exactly who this Auburn team is.
Yeah, Memphis game. Yeah.
Memphis game, USC game. Once again, man, USC game can't close. All right, you got a chance to win it late, can't close. So it's just a reoccurring thing, man. With Auburn, you get down within the last 5 minutes of the game, and you. Let's be honest, you shit the bed. You shit the bed, man. I mean,
yeah, it's weird too to watch the fan reaction. It's so strange. It's almost like if you say something positive about football, you're a sunshine pumper. And if you say anything negative about football or basketball, you're an idiot and you want to fire Bruce Pearl. I mean, I have the audacity today to say that Auburn might have to process a couple of guys and bring in some three-point shooters. Because, again, out of 370-something teams, we're like 350-something in three-point percentage. And I have never got more hate and more fire back from a tweet. I mean, people call me a dumbass, an idiot, all kind of things for suggesting that Bruce is going to have a tough decision when he looks at Alan Flanagan and says, do you use your COVID year?
Yeah.
Or do we process you and bring in a small forward that can play perimeter defense? Because Flan's defense is wavered too. That can play perimeter defense at a high level and consistently hit threes. I would say, yes, that would be an upgrade to the team. That's a hard decision, though, when you have the guy's coach, the guy's dad's an assistant coach, and we know Bruce is loyal. Bruce loves KD, right? That's his psycho. But again, Bruce got a fat new salary, and money gets pumped into basketball now. I don't care about what it was like in 1995 or 2005 anymore, because we're not that team. That's not this program anymore. So that's irrelevant. That would be like if Auburn got good in football in 3 years, being like, oh, what about the Harsin days? Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to you want to be good.
Auburn loses a close game to just say Georgia in 3 years, and everybody says, oh, well, you remember the Brian Harsin days? You weren't around when Brian Harsin was the coach. So don't be mad that we lost this game and Hugh Freeze fumbled the bag in this Georgia game and everything.
Right.
No, man, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it.
It's crazy.
Right? We're not in the Tony Barbie days anymore. Like, forget it. Let it go. It's over. We expect to win basketball games, man. We got a taste of the Final Four and what it should have been a national championship that year, in my opinion. And we want more of that. We want to get back there. And so, man, I mean, it's frustrating, but like a guy that you just talked about, Alan Flanagan, I want to throw this up here real quick. Alan Flanagan went 1 of 9 from the field, man, with just 7 points. All right. And I'll be honest with you, Dustin, I think Cuz checked out when he got posterized by Brandon Miller. I think he checked out. I think he said, hey, I'm out of here. Don't jump, young blood. All right, don't jump. Don't jump, young blood, because you got posterized. All right? And really and truly, I don't know why he jumped. It was at the end of the half. You gave him an and one. Once again, Auburn at the end of the half, they can't close. All right, can't close. You got the lead. You let Alabama get right back into it. They get a fast break in transition. dish it to Brandon Miller. You jump. Bad decision. He immediately knew he messed up. Gets the wrist. Brandon Miller flushes it home, man. I think Allen Flanagan checked out, Dustin. I really do.
Can't have this. We can't have 1 for 9 with 7 points against Alabama. Man, he's a senior. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's unacceptable, man. He would tell you that. I mean, so it's not anything that should be controversial to anybody. Yeah, he's got to be better than that. He's not, like I said, he's not even bringing the defensive side anymore, and it's frustrating because you see him pop off and go for 20 points, and he's had those nights for 15 points and 8 rebounds, and and he's making steals and all this kind of stuff, and then you get this, and that's really out. The two most consistent guys on this team are Janai Broome, and I know he didn't have his best game yesterday, but Janai and Wendell Green.
Yeah.
You can count on them having a good game more times than not. Everybody else, we'll find out.
Wild card.
We'll find out when they tip it up.
Yeah, they're a wild card, man. You have absolutely no clue. And man, I really do think Joe Nye played really well in the paint. I think he had a lot to deal with. That was my one X factor in the game was, Alabama's size down low, man. And I thought Joe Nye had a real problem on his hands yesterday. I thought he handled it well. I know he didn't fill it up on the offensive end, Dustin, but I thought Joe Nye played really, really well inside. He missed a couple bunnies on the offensive end, a couple of hook shots that went halfway down and bounced out, man. Unfortunate. Yeah. I know that's happened a lot to Auburn this season. It really feels like there's just a damn. Yeah, it feels like there's a damn popcorn maker on that thing for real. I mean, it feels rough sometimes, man. Like the Zep Jasper 3 the other day.
Yeah.
It hurts, man. But Joe Nye Broome, I do really think he brought it down low with having to deal with Clowney and Betty Iko, and there's a lot of size down there in that Alabama roster, man.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I think Bruce had a great game plan for what it was. Alabama is a significantly more talented team than us, and it was Bruce's game plan that kept us in the game. And Janai's that anchor for us. When we go up against teams like this, he's undersized, and it's easy to look at the points in the paint and put that all on Janai, but like that's not. It's more deep. It's way more deep than that. It was specific to our game plan. We gave them that.
Yeah.
And kind of put Janai in a lot of bad positions a lot of time, truthfully. So yeah, Janai's, like I said, he's probably been the most. I mean, him and Wendell right there. And yeah, some of these bunnies, man. We have 5 or 6 rim outs a game, and it's also like if it's a tip ball, if it's a 50-50 ball, and both guys' hands are like this. The ball just goes off our fingertip or just goes off our guy's shoe. And that's been all year. I mean, we just cannot catch a break, man. And again, it kind of feels like football, right? Where it was just there would be a turnover. How long did the defense go without getting a turnover? Like half the season, 3/4 of the season. And just so many times the ball would just be right there. I remember one time where we had the fumble right there and it takes a funny bounce and goes out of bounds. It just
remember the Ole Miss game? Remember the Ole Miss game? We forced the fumble and it's laying right there, and we try to pick it up and we can't get it, and then Ole Miss falls on it. We just couldn't catch a break, man. So I hate it.
It feels like the same thing.
Yeah, I hate it for this Auburn team, man. But I think they got to come together. I think they got to make a couple of adjustments, do something. Have a team meeting or something. Just really lock in, try to gel together, and try to make a run right here at the end of the season. And hopefully you can fight through all this adversity and make the tournament. And look, I don't think they're going to go far in the tournament, but do I hope they do? Absolutely, I do. I'm an Auburn fan, man. War damn Eagle. I hope they go as far as they possibly can, But I think we got to face reality, Dustin. I really do. But man, look, before we get out of here, there was some big news that broke last week. I know this is the first time that we've gotten to record. And that was Oklahoma and Texas, man. All right, they weren't supposed to join the conference until July 1st of 2025. But now, all right, they're joining July 1st of 2024. What are your thoughts on this, man? And how big is this for the conference?
They better not make our 3 biggest rivals, because we know who the first 2 are going to be.
Yeah.
If they go to the 3-6 or the 3-6 format and all these different things,
Yeah.
that's my whole concern. The Auburn side, they better not give us Oklahoma as our third rival or some shit like that. You better give us Vanderbilt or Mississippi State. I am
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
hope it's Mississippi State because we play. You know, I mean, we have it's kind of a rivalry. Like there's some history
Yeah.
there. I hope it's one of those Mississippi schools, to be honest. But yeah, dude, just that's my thing. Don't give us Tennessee and then bring up rivalries from yesteryear or give us Florida or something like that. No. You pick one of them teams that's a little bit of a lower tier all-time program and you give that to us. And I'm hopeful that when this all comes about, that it'll lighten up the schedule for us because it seems like we're going to lose LSU every year.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate that because it's been an awesome rivalry growing up, and yeah, there's opportunity for them to restore. So A&M can now play, you know, and I know that they're probably pissed about that because them and Texas got that beef and all that,
Yeah.
But I look forward to it. I really do. Oklahoma has competed well against SEC teams in the past. My argument to them would be when you have 20, 25 days in a bowl game to prepare, you can probably perform pretty well. Let's see how you do when you get thrown in this gauntlet. I'll be honest with you, Blake. I think Texas is going to get swallowed. I really do. I think that the move that Texas, I think Oklahoma has a chance to beat Oklahoma. They're not going to have. I don't anticipate them having the consistency that they've had during my lifetime. I mean, they have
Yeah.
just been top notch every year. But honestly, it kind of because just law of averages, you're not going to do that forever. You're going to have some down, and
Yeah.
they're like overdue for it. And after going 6-6 or 6-7 last year, it kind of seems like they're there anyway. I don't necessarily believe in their head coach. I think he's in over his head. I think it's if that's who they're rolling into the SEC with, I feel pretty confident about them not really making much of a dent until they get somebody in there.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think Oklahoma has a good chance to sustain and still be the Oklahoma brand. I really think that Texas is making a move that's gonna kill themselves. Now, do they have a big brand? Is their brand huge? Yes, I understand all that. Are they going to have this humongous following in the state of Texas and they have a nice following around the country? Yes, I get all that. But from a competitive standpoint, I think their fans live in kind of what they've earned it to some degree. So I'm not comparing them totally to Arkansas, but like the level of delusion as to what they currently are is very
Yeah.
similar to Arkansas to me. I haven't seen you do shit in a while. And then when you did, it was Mac Brown and Vince Young. I was still in high school. So yeah, I think this is a bad move for Texas. I think they're going to get swallowed up. But for me, just from an Auburn fan side, I'm just hoping that it lightens our schedule, bro.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to take a little different stance on this here, Dustin. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, talking about Texas and Oklahoma. I think that Texas is more favorable of joining the SEC than Oklahoma is. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. This Texas A&M did not want them to join the SEC because that was a recruiting pitch against Texas in that state to say, hey, look, we're in the SEC. You can come play in the SEC, best conference in college sports. And, Texas can't offer you that. They can offer the Big 12. You don't want to go out there, the 3-3-5 defenses, and all they do is throw it around the yard. Nobody wants to play out there. And Texas A&M didn't want them joining the SEC because of that. All right. So now I think Texas is in a much better position, and I think this could actually drown Texas A&M. Texas comes into the SEC, starts gaining power, momentum in recruiting the state of Texas. I think with Oklahoma now under Brett Venables having their down season, they're not doing so hot. That could really hurt them, set them back. That rises Texas up. Then Texas is going to have to start competing with LSU. I don't think they're going to have to compete with Arkansas that much because I'm just not a believer in Arkansas in football. Never have, never will. So I think Texas is in the better spot, in my opinion, coming to the SEC. I get what you're saying with them getting swallowed up because I know people, I know I've heard it and I could see it happening. I just think that Texas, like you said, with their brand and their money And I like Sark, man. I like Sark. I think he's a great coach. I think he's one of the top 3 offensive minds in college football. So I think Texas is my pick there. I think they have a lot of momentum. But the one thing that I am just so excited about, Dustin, is, man, you look across all the sports, okay? Not just football. Man, you look at basketball, okay? Oklahoma just beat number 3 Alabama. Well, they were number 2 at the time by 23.
They
All right.
smoked them.
They've had guys like Trey Young, Ice Trey the Game, they've had Blake Griffin come out of there. They've had Buddy Hield come out of there. They've had some studs come out of Oklahoma basketball, man. So that's a big time pickup. Texas with Kevin Durant, in my opinion, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history if he could just get his head out of his ass.
Oh, he might set history. He might be the first player ever to make a 3-pointer for every team in the NBA.
Man,
Clown.
look, hey, that's why I said, man, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. But if he could just get his head out of his ass, but he's a social media diva. Okay, that's what KD is. But KD comes out of Texas, man. They've had some great dudes come out of Texas, and then you look at women's softball. Okay, Oklahoma runs women's softball right now, man. They're the creme de la creme of women's softball. Texas, look at Texas and the greats that they've had come out of that program. That's a great women's softball. Two programs coming in here that's just going to boost what SEC softball already is. And then you look at baseball. All right, Oklahoma just played in the national championship game. Dustin, the national championship series out in Omaha, and Texas, they were preseason number 1 last year and supposed to be the greatest team of all time. And we know that Augie Garrido and all those great past teams that Texas had, we know what that's about. So you're bringing 2 powerhouses into college baseball. Equestrian, I'm sure they ride horses out there in Oklahoma and Texas. So, I mean, that's probably, 2 stout programs out there. I'm not sure, but man, looking at it, golf. Look at golf, bro. The studs that have come out of Texas in golf. So, I mean, I think this is a monumental pickup for the Southeastern Conference. I think it's absolutely huge, man. I'm so excited. I can't wait till Auburn plays at Texas or at Oklahoma. I know I'm going to be out there taking it all in, man. I'm just absolutely stoked. I think it is going to be hell on wheels. The SEC is just growing. It's getting stronger. And this conference just flat out can't be stopped, Dustin.
Well, I'm going to be the get off my lawn guy, I guess, because I still think that, like, when I have to name the SEC teams, the last 2 I get every time?
Who is that?
I finally get A&M because I like,
yeah.
And to your point about A&M being scared of Texas, they got 23, 24-year-olds that are in the ROTC. You won't be in the military, boss man. Go join the military. That's just a different place over there, man.
They're weird, man.
They are strange. You ought to look up some of their campfire traditions with a jar, what they do with a jar. Not gonna get into just Google it. I won't even get into that one all this.
Yeah.
Just Google it. It'll blow your mind. But I'm gonna be kind of get off your lawn, I guess, because I don't even care about A&M and Missouri still. To me, it's just like, I forget they're in the league. It's whatever. At the end of the day, you've said it before, the SEC in the East is Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. In the West, it's Alabama, LSU, and Auburn. And as far as football concerned, I don't think that these 2 teams coming in are going to change that. I don't. I think that Auburn, as long as Hugh Freeze does what we all believe he's going to do, I think that we're going to be right back where we need to be. I think that Brian Kelly has got LSU on the right direction. Yeah. Are they better than like Ole Miss and Mississippi State? Sure. But coming into this, I don't know, man. And like, culture fit will be interesting, and ultimately money wins. But the couple of conversations I've had with Oklahoma fans, they don't seem to get it yet. They're not. They really don't. They're I just was having a nice conversation, like not trying to talk trash with an Oklahoma fan, and a knowledgeable guy that knows his stuff. And I just asked him, like, you ready for Baton Rouge on a Saturday night? Are you ready for Jordan-Hare on a Saturday night? Are you ready for Bryant-Denny? Are you ready to go into Neyland when they're good on a Saturday night? Are you ready for this? And his response was, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. Okay, boss.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll find out, man. I know they're looking at Missouri having their early success and in the SEC, but haven't had much since. And then
No.
can't even hold on to the football to beat Auburn at the goal line this past season.
Ooh,
So,
what
but
a
we'll get
game.
off that. We'll get off
What
that.
a
We'll get off
game.
that. But Dustin, man, before we get out of here, man, I'll let you get your last word in and plug any type of shows or any content you'd like, man.
No, well, I'm all focused on the Up Tempo podcast at this point, baby. We're going to grow
Yeah.
this thing and do our thing. So, just like and subscribe. We're trying to push the YouTube channel hard, so help us out with that. And we got a big baseball episode coming up tomorrow, man. Cannot wait for that one. So, and man, we're going to be here reacting one way or the other. And it sure would be nice if baseball can give us a season of positive reactions, because I don't like coming on here and shitting on Auburn, man. It's not fun.
Hey, so look at here, man. We've posted 4 episodes to the YouTube channel? I think 4 episodes, and we're almost to 100 subscribers, man. So we're 1 subscriber away from 100 subscribers after 4 videos, man. 4 legit videos. I've posted some in the past, but
Right.
we're 1 subscriber away, man. So we're already growing. We're getting our following up, and I'm excited. I like that we made the move over to YouTube, got everything straightened out, and we're starting to push our video content even harder, man. And I can't wait for that episode with Lindsey Crosby tomorrow night with the Auburn Daily. And he also has his own Locked On MLB Prospects podcast that he does. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. Lindsey does a great job covering the baseball side of things. I mean, he is absolutely locked in, zeroed in, and just gives top-notch content for the Auburn Tigers baseball program. So can't wait for that one. But we really appreciate each and every one of you joining for this episode, man. We're almost to 200 episodes, Dustin. So this podcast, man, hey, we're getting after it. And like always, War Damn Eagle, and we will catch you on the next one. We're out.